Thank you for that, Devin. We're joined now by Kurt Justice of Kurt Island's Bait Shop. Thanks for joining us this morning. We were glad to have you.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
And it's certainly an exciting time of year. It's the holidays, and people are looking for all the gifts around that they possibly could be. And this might just be the right thing for the right fisherman or woman in your life.
Well, some of it's fishing stuff. Some of it can be used anytime. These are just what I thought was some really good gift ideas for the people that may be trying to pick something that for the person that they might think has everything, and these are a few things that are pretty new, so they probably don't have.
Yeah, we were eyeing these heated gloves earlier, though.
My wife bought a pair when we first got them, and she raves about them. She bought some others online that she said didn't work, but these work great. This is by a company called, we have the gloves and socks by DSG, which means Do Something Great. It's a woman's own company out of Madison, and they make clothing, including like vests, heated vests, and stuff designed for women. But the gloves and the socks, anybody can.
Yeah, no, I was thinking it'd be great for the ice fishermen and women. Also, deer hunting, it might be useful, especially the late season bow hunting.
Yep.
That'd be certainly useful if we actually get some colder weather.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, what's colder weather these days, right?
Yeah. So those have been really popular so far. We just brought this stuff in, and people had a good response on it. We've got a few other fun stuff, a little gift grab bag box. It's kind of like a mystery box with for $30. It's got a lot of ice fishing stuff by Clam, so you don't know until you open it up what you're going to get. But
dude, that's kind of fun. You just buy something, you're like, oh, you don't know what it is until you open it.
It's a surprise.
It's a prize for everybody. Yeah.
But we were looking at some of these other stuff, like the filleting knife, and you have an aerator.
So this is a kit from Rapala, and they have a fillet knife, a cordless fillet knife with a rechargeable battery, and usually we sell those for about $130. The battery can also be used on a aerator to keep your minnows alive, and they also have a light. And they package it all together this year. If you bought all this stuff separately, it'd probably be about $240, $250. And we package them up. We're selling the package for about $180, but we've got them on sale for about $150.
So say some people are trying out minnows that have never done minnows before. What's the ideal conditions to keep them alive for a long time?
The colder the water, the better. Minnows are cold-blooded, so they need a lot of oxygen, but their body temperature is whatever the water temperature. Unfortunately, warm water holds less oxygen than cold water, but also warm water speeds up their metabolism, so they need twice as much oxygen. So, and especially nowadays with the price of minnows going up quite a bit with transportation and everything, it's really important to take care of your bait. And so these aerators like this really help pay for themselves over time by keeping your losses down, by keeping it good air quality in conditions, oxygen levels, I should say, in a minnow bucket. Keep your bait alive, and that way you'll last longer. It'll be a lot healthier when you put them on the hook and use them to tempt those fish.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I never thought about that, because you always think about aerators for like lakes and ponds in the area. Now you got it for your own bucket of minnows.
Of minnows, yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. And the fact that they're rechargeable batteries, so you don't have to keep buying, batteries that you end up tossing.
Yeah, it's definitely very nice too. And we've been talking about kind of like ice thickness too, kind of on our airwaves here. What have you seen so far for ice thickness?
Well, typically up by us, a little further north in here, it's we're running about 5 to 7 inches. We have some lakes that have 8. We also have some open water too. So anywhere you go, you just need to really check and use your, as you say, your spud bar to check ice thickness before you head out. Be very cautious, especially on a lake that maybe you're the first one going out. Make sure that you work your way out slowly. Don't just assume because you have 4 inches by shore that you still have 4 inches further out.
That's the idea. Spud bar is kind of that quick check too, but it is also more in-depth checking, drill a hole and kind of measure it that way, right?
Sure. But things we've had some pretty cold nights, just enough to keep firming things up even after this wave of warm spells we keep getting. It's like 3 weeks of this warm and cold and warm and cold.
Just can't seem to shake it, Devin. My goodness.
It's a very interesting pattern with El Nino, but I guess the good news, the lack of snow is helping to freeze the lakes up, so it's kind of helping out.
Yeah, we need a good solid, I would love to see a good solid 12 to 15 inches before we really get the snow. I know everybody wants snow. Our communities here rely on snow for
a lot of the winter activities and getting the folks up and the tourism. But, you know, there's also a big demand for the ice fishing as well.
Yes.
So there's the two groups, they want colder weather, certainly, between the both of them. But there's also one more thing that you had on the table that I thought was really neat. It was a sort of lighter, you said.
Yeah, so I thought this here is a rechargeable hand warmer, which I think is pretty handy to have. There's a disposable kind that you open. It's kind of a chemical reaction.
Right.
But this little job here is a little plasma lighter. It's rechargeable, and I don't know if people can see it or not.
Oh, I see it. It looks like it's an electric thing.
Yeah, it's electric, and you can recharge it. And say you're out someplace and you really needed in a high wind, or just as maybe a survival type of kit, and they're fairly inexpensive at $25. And I thought that was a pretty cool thing. I mean, they say 80 miles an hour, it'll hold up. You know, even my mother-in-law couldn't blow this out.
That's not really cool. I could hear like that high pitch thing going there when you lit it. That's really cool.
Yeah. And one last thing I could is that.
Of course.
Beaver Dam every year comes out with a new color, and this year's they let the public actually submit ideas, and this year is this fire tiger northern pike pattern on there. So it
looks beautiful.
Every year it's a little something different.
It feels very tropical.
Yeah, well, I guess I never thought of it that way, but yeah, it's for the bright colors. But yeah.
Well, yeah, a lot of good gifts here, and certainly, you know, an exciting time. Everyone needs that last-minute idea for, you know, the fishermen, the outdoorsmen, for basically anything they're looking to stay warm this year. Where can they find you?
Well, right up north of downtown Minocqua on the east side of the highway, Kurt's Island Sports Shop, and we're open 7 days a week. And we have pretty good long hours because we're a fisherman-based store, so we're open early and we usually stay open fairly late. And yeah, just stop on in and we'll help point you to some directions for some gifts that would maybe your loved one doesn't have yet. That's always hard. I know my wife has a hard time finding stuff for me. So
no, you gave me a lot of good ideas here. I appreciate it.
Well, good thing.
Well, but thanks for coming on this morning. We really appreciate you,
Thanks
Kurt.
for having us. I appreciate it.
And coming up, we have What's Trending, including